we're going to show you how to change the front CV on your Syncro. Safety first. First thing we need to do is place a brick in front and behind the back wheel on both sides. One in front, one at the back. We'll also use our handbrake to make extra certain that we are not going to roll forwards. The next thing we need to do is place our jack at the correct spot. Today I'm using a trolley jack because it's more convenient for me, but if you've got your high lift jack, then you use your high lift jack, especially if you're out in the veld. So what we do is we jack up until the wheel is just lifting. And that's about there. And then we remove the center bolt and we loosen the wheel nuts. You will need a number 30 socket for the center nut and your wheel spanner for the wheel nuts, or a 19 spanner. Now the center bolt should be pretty tight, and using a standard spanner is going to be rather difficult. You need some torque. So what I've done, I've got hold of a pipe. We insert it over here for leverage, and it makes the job a lot easier. Once it's loose, you can then just loosen it by hand. And then we loosen the wheel nuts. I've already loosened them. It's not my fingers that are so strong. Now that we've removed or loosened the nuts on the wheel, we can raise the wheel off the ground. And that's what we're looking for. Our next step is to loosen the bolts on the CV on the inner side, the inner CV joint. Now to do that, we're going to need the socket spanner and an Allen key to fit. Okay, the next step is to get underneath the vehicle. Those are the bolts that we need to remove of the inner CV. Right, now if you've been driving a lot of 4x4 like I have, then these Allen caps are probably full of mud and gunge, so you need to clean them out. Just take a small screwdriver and clean them out. Make sure that your Allen key can get in nice and deep, because if it can't, you're going to strip it, and then you're going to have a hell of a time taking these things out. Right, that's all of them clean. So now I take my Allen key, my socket and a little extension, and I'll insert it into the first one. Now don't put it into the bottom, because you're not going to get it straight in there. Start on the side, and I think this is the best side to start. So you're basically going to put it in there and you give it a bit of a push. They should be quite tight. If they're not tight, then it's just as well you're changing it, because these things have a way of working themselves loose. So just loosen each one, and then when they're all loose, you can start taking them off. Now this one's nice and tight, so I'm going to have to ask someone to press the brake so that I can get to it. Let me just see first. It's alright. I'm managing. So if you can't turn it without the wheel turning, get someone to press the brake so that it doesn't turn. Now you may find that you get one that's very tight and it feels like it wants to slip. If that's the case, don't just go for it. You're going to have to do a little trick, and I'll show you that now. But as I said, we've got one here that is giving us a bit of a hard time, so we need to carry out a little trick to make it work for us. I'm going to use this tool, which is not a normal ratchet. It's a It's just a nice lever because I need to hit it on the back here. So insert it, take my hammer, and I press it, and while I'm pressing it I want to turn it. Now I'm going to put a lever on to give me a bit more leverage. The important thing is to keep hitting it with the hammer. I think we've got it. Let's get the socket to check. That little bit of a shock is all it needs to help it to come loose. Just needs a bit of motivation.